Shalom, shalom. Today will be Judges 6 through 10. And we got a lot to cover today, so we're just going to hop right into it. Chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and Yahweh gave them into the hand of Midyan for 7 years. And the hand of Midyan was strong against Israel, and before the faces of the Midianites, the children of Israel made for themselves the refuges which are in the mountains, and the caves, and the strongholds. And it came to be, whenever Israel had sown, that Midian would come up, and Amalek and the people of the east would come up against them, and encamp against them, and destroy the increase of the soil as far as Azah, and leave no food in Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor donkey. For they came up with their livestock and their tents, coming in as numerous as locusts, and they and their camels were without number, and they came into the land to destroy it. Thus Israel was brought very low because of Midian, and the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh. And it came to be, when the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh because of Midian, that Yahweh sent a prophet to the children of Israel, who said to them, Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I have brought you up from Mitzrayim, and I brought you out of the house of bondage. And I delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of all your oppressors, and drove them out before you, and gave you their land. And I said to you, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Do not fear the mighty ones of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, and you have not obeyed my voice. And the messenger of Yahuwah came and sat under the terebinth tree, which was Oprah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, while his son Gideon threshed wheat in the winepress to hide it from the eyes of the Midianites. And the messenger of Yahweh appeared to him and said to him, Yahweh is with you, you mighty brave one. And Gideon said to him, O my master, if Yahweh is with us, why has all this come upon us? And where are all his wonders, which our fathers related to us, saying, Did not Yahweh bring us up from Mitzrayim? But now Yahweh has left us and given us into the hands of Midyan. And Yahweh turned to him and said, Go in the strength of yours, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have I not sent you? And he said to him, O Yahuwah, with what do I save Israel? See, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And Yahuwah said to him, Because I am with you, you shall strike the Midianites as one man. And he said to him, Please, if I have found favor in your eyes, then show me a sign that it is you who are speaking with me. Please do not move away from here until I come to you and bring you my offering and set it before you. And he said, I shall stay until you return. And Gideon went in and prepared a young goat and unleavened bread from an ephah of flour. The meat he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and he brought them out to him under the terebinth tree and presented it. And the messenger of Elohim said to him, Take the meat and the unleavened bread, and lay them on this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. And the messenger of Yahuwah put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the meat and unleavened bread, and fire went up out of the rock, and consumed the meat and the unleavened bread. And the messenger of Yahuwah went from his sight. And when Gideon saw that he was a messenger of Yahuwah, Gideon said, O Master Yahweh, for I have seen a messenger of Yahuwah face to face. And Yahweh said to him, Peace be with you. Do not fear. You do not die. And Gideon built a slaughter place there to Yahuwah and called it Yahuwah Shalom. To this day, it is still an Oprah of the Abiezrites. And the same night it came to be that Yahuwah said to him, Take the young bull of your father and the second bull of 7 years old, and you shall throw down the slaughter place of Baal that your father has, and cut down the Asherah that is beside it. And you shall build a slaughter place to Yahuwah your Elohim on top of this rock to in an orderly way, and shall take the second bull and offer a sinning offering with the wood of the image which you cut down. And Gideon took 10 men from among his servants, and did as YHWH had said to him. And it came to be, because he feared his father's household, and the men of the city too much to do it by day, that he did it by night. And the men of the city arose early in the morning, and saw the slaughter place of Baal was broken down, and the Asherah that was beside it had been cut down, and the second bull was being offered on the slaughter place which was built. And they said to each other, Who has done this deed? And when they had inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, son of Joash, has done this deed. And the men of the city said to Joash, Bring out your son, so that he dies. For he has broken down the slaughter place of Baal, and because he has cut down the Asherah that was beside it. And Joash said to all who stood against him, would you plead for Baal? Would you save him? Let the one who would plead for him be put to death by morning. If he is a mighty one, let him plead for himself, because his slaughter place has been broken down. So that day he called to Jerubbaal, saying, Let Baal plead against him, because he has broken down his slaughter place. Now all Midyan and Amalek and the people of the east were gathered around, and they passed over and encamped in the valley of Yizreel. Then the Spirit of Yahweh came upon Gideon, and he blew the shofar, and the Abiezrites gathered behind him. And he sent messengers throughout all of Manasseh, who also gathered behind him, and he sent messengers to Asherah and to Zebulun and to Naphtali, and they came up to meet them. And Gideon said to Elohim, If you are saving Israel by my hand, as you have said, see, I am placing a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece, and it is dry on all the ground, then I shall know that you are saving Israel by my hand, as you have said. And it was so. And he rose early the next morning, and pressed the fleece, and wrung out the dew of the fleece, to fill a bowl with water. And Gideon said to Elohim, Do not be displeased with me, and let me speak only this time. Please let me try only this time with the fleece. Please let it be dry only the fleece, and let the dew be on all the ground. And Elohim did so that night, and it was dry on the fleece only, but there was dew on all the ground. And Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all the people who were with him rose up early and encamped by the fountain of Harod, so that the camp of Midyan was on the north side of them by the hill of Morah in the valley. And YHWH said to Gideon, The people who are with you are too many for me to give Midyan into your hands, lest Israel boast against me, saying, My own hand has saved me. And now proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, Whoever is afraid and trembling, let him turn back, and leave Mount Gilead. And 22,000 of the people turned back, while 10,000 remained. And YHWH said to Gideon, The people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and let me prove them for you there. And it shall be, that of whom I say to you, This one goes with you, let him go with you. And if whoever I say to you, This one does not go with you, let him not go. So he brought the people down to the water, and YHWH said to Gideon, Everyone who laps the water with his tongue as a dog laps, separate him from everyone who bows down on his knees to drink. So basically what he's saying is if they stick their whole head down to the water, no, they're not going. It's not happening. But if they scoop some water up in their hands and like lick it up like a dog would or like a kitty cat, they're going. And why? Because the people who have their face in the water, they've got no situational awareness. Right? The people that have scooped it up and are bringing water to their face are able to like look around still and have situational awareness. Anyway, and the number of those who lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, was 300 men, and all the rest of the people bowed down to their knees to drink water. And Yahweh said to Gideon, By the 300 men who lapped, I save you, and shall give Midian into your hand. Let all the other people go, each to his place. And the people took food and their shofarot in their hands, and he sent away all the rest of Israel, each to his tent, but held on to those 300 men. Now the camp of Midyan was below him in the valley. And it came to be on that night that Yahweh said to him, Arise, go down against the camp, for I have given it into your hand. But if you are afraid to go down, go down, you and Purah, your servant, to the camp, and you shall hear what they say, and after that let your hands be strengthened, and you shall go down against the camp. So he went down with Purah, his servant, to the edge of the formation of fives who were in the camp. And Midyan and Amalek and all the people of the east were lying in the valley, as many as locusts, and their camels were as numerous as the sands by the seashore. And Gideon came, and see, a man was relating a dream to his companion, and said, See, I had a dream. And see, a loaf of barley bread tumbled into the camp of Midyan, and it came to a tent, and struck it, so that it fell and overturned. And the tent fell down. And his companion answered and said, This is none other than the sword of Gideon. This is none other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, a man of Israel. Elohim has given Midian to all the camp into his hand. And it came to be, when Gideon heard this dream related, and its interpretation, that he bowed himself down, and he returned to the camp of Israel, and said, Arise, for Yahweh has given the camp of Midian into your hand. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put shofaro into the hands of all of them, with empty jars and torches inside the jars. And he said to them, Watch me, and do likewise, and see, when I come to the edge of the camp, do as I do. And I shall blow the shofar, and I and all those with me. Then you shall also blow with the shofar around all the camp, and say, For Yahweh and for Gideon. And Gideon and the 100 men who were with him came to the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly posted the watch. And they blew with the shofar and broke the jars that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew with the shofar and broke the jars, and held the torches in their left hands and the shofar in their right hands for blowing. And they cried, A sword for Yahweh and for Gideon. And each stood in his place round about the camp. And all the army ran and cried out and fled. And the 300 blew the shofar, and Yahweh set the sword of each one against the other throughout all the camp. And the army fled to Baeth Shittah toward Teshurah, as far as the border of Abel Meholah by Tabbath. And the men of Israel were called from Naphtali and from Asher and from all Manasseh, and pursued Midyan. Then Gideon sent messengers throughout all the mountains of Ephraim, saying, Come down to meet Midyan, and capture from them the watering places as far as Baeth Barah and the Jordan. So all the men of Ephraim were called and captured the watering places as far as Baeth Barah and the Jordan. And they captured 2 princes of Midyan, Oreb and Zeeb, and killed Oreb at the rock of Oreb. And Zeeb they killed at the winepress of Zeeb, while they pursued Midyan. And they brought the heads of Oreb and Zeeb to Gideon beyond the Jordan. Kept getting a little parched. Chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said to him, What is this you have done to us by not calling us when you went to fight with Midyan? And they contended with him sharply. And he said to them, What have I done as compared with you? Are you, the gleanings of Ephraim, not better than the grape harvest of Abiezer? Elohim has given into your hands the princes of Midyan, Oreb, and Zeeb, and what was I able to do as compared with you? And when he said that, their rage toward him subsided. And Gideon and the 300 men who were with him came to the Jordan, passing over, weary yet pursuing. And he said to the men of Sukkot, Please give loaves of bread to the people. Please give loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they are weary. And I am pursuing Zebah and Salmunna, sovereign of Midyan. But the leaders of Sukkot said, Are the hands of Zebah and Salmunna now in your hands, that we should give bread to your army? And Gideon said, because of this, when Yahweh has given Zebah and Salmunna into my hand, I shall tear your flesh with thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And he went up from there to Penuel and spoke to them in the same way. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. So he spoke also to the men of Penuel, saying, when I come back in peace, I shall break down this tower. And Zebah and Salmunna were at Karkor, and their armies with them, about 15,000 men, all who were left of all the army of the people of the east. Now those who had already fallen were 120,000 men who drew the sword. And Gideon went up by the way of those who dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and YHWH. He struck the camp while the camp was at ease. And Zebah and Salmunna fled, and he pursued them and captured the two sovereigns of Midyan, Zebah and Salmunna, and shuttered the entire army. And Gideon, son of Joash, returned from battle from the ascent of Heres, and captured a youth of the men of Succoth, and questioned him. So the youth wrote down for him the leaders of Succoth and its elders, 77 men. And he came to the men of Succoth, and said, see, Zebah and Salmunna, about whom you taunted me, saying, are the hands of Zebah and Salmunna now in your hands, that we should give bread to your men who are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth a lesson. I wonder what that lesson was. And he broke down the tower of Penuel, and killed the men of that city. And he said to Zebah and Salmunna, how were the men whom you killed at Tabor? So they answered, they were like you. Each one looked like the son of a sovereign. And he said, they were my brothers, the sons of my mother. As Yahweh lives, if you had let them live, I would not kill you. And he said to Jether his firstborn, rise, kill them. But the youth would not draw his sword, for he was afraid, because he was still a youth. And then Zebah and Salmunna said, rise yourself, and fall on us, for as a man is, so is his might. So Gideon arose and killed Zebah and Salmunna, and took the crescent ornaments which were on the camel's neck. So the men of Israel said to Gideon, rule over us, both you and your sons, also your sons' sons, and for you have saved us from the hand of Midyan. But Gideon said to them, I do not rule over you, nor does my son rule over you. Yahweh does rule over you. And Gideon said to them, I have a request to make of you, that each of you give me the ring from his spoil. For they had rings of gold, because they were Ishmaelites. And they said, we shall certainly give them. And they spread out a garment, and each man threw into it the ring from his spoil. Excuse me. And the weight of the gold rings that he requested was 1,700 pieces of gold, beside the crescent ornaments and the pendants and the purple robes which were on the sovereigns of Midyan, and beside the chains that were around their camels' necks. And Gideon made it into a shoulder garment and set it up in his city, Ophrah, Ophrah, whatever, Ophrah. And all Israel went whoring after it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and his house. That sucks. Material things. We love the material things, us people. Thus Midian was humbled before the children of Israel, and they lifted their heads no more. And the land had rest for 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal, son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons, who were his own offspring, for he had many wives. And his concubine, who was in Shechem, also bore him a son, and he gave him the name Abimelech. And Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age, and was buried in the burial site of Joash his father, and Ophrah of the Abiezrite. And it came to be, when Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel again went whoring after the Baals, and made Baal Berith their mighty one. Thus the children of Israel did not remember Yahweh their Elohim, who had delivered them from the hands of all the enemies round about. nor did they show loving commitment to the house of Jerubbaal, Gideon, according to all the good which he did for their Israel. I just had a thought, and it's like, dude, how are these people, like, we're doing good, and then Buddy dies, and it's like, all right, go get all the stuff out of the drawers. We can bring all that stuff back out. Like, I don't understand. How did it, the Levites are there. The Levites are there in town. So I can only imagine, like, the Levites are going around and be like, dude, stop that. And they're like, the people are like, what do you know? You've got the fancy book. You've been lying to us. Blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, God. Please help. Please help. Anyway. And Abimelech, son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his mother's brothers, and spoke with them, with all the clans of the house of his mother's fathers, saying, please speak in the hearing of all the masters of Shechem, which is better for you, that 70 men, all the sons of Jerubbaal, rule over you, or that one man rule over you. And you shall remember that I am your own flesh and bone. And his mother's brothers spoke all these words concerning him in the hearing of all the matters of Shechem, and in the hearing of all the masters of Shechem. And their heart inclined toward Abimelech, for they said, he is our brother. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver from their house of Baal-berith, with which Abimelech hired worthless and reckless men, and they followed him. And he went to his father's house at Ophrah and killed his brothers, the 70 sons of Jerubbaal, on one stone. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, because he hid himself. And all the masters of Shechem gathered together, and all of Beth Millo, and they went and made Abimelech sovereign beside the terebinth tree at the post that was in Shechem. That's crazy. That's crazy. But he just hired some folks and went and killed all his brothers. 7. And they informed Jotham, and he went and stood on top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted his voice and cried out, and said to them, hear me, you masters of Shechem, and let Elohim hear you. The trees went forth to anoint a sovereign over them. And they said to the olive tree, reign over us. And the olive tree said to them, shall I leave my oil, with which they esteem mighty ones and men, and go to sway over trees? Then the tree said to the fig tree, come, reign over us. And the fig tree said to them, shall I leave my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to sway over trees? Then the tree said to the vine, come, reign over us. And the vine said to them, shall I leave my new wine, which rejoices mighty ones and men, and go to sway over trees? Then the tree said to the bramble, come, reign over us. And the bramble said to the trees, if in truth you anoint me as sovereign over you, come, take refuge in my shade. But if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. And now, if you have acted in truth and integrity in setting up Abimelech to reign, and if you have acted well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done to him as his hands did to you, for my father fought for you and risked his life, and delivered you out of the hand of Midyan. But you have risen up against my father's house today, and killed his 70 sons on one stone, and set up Abimelech, the son of his female servant, to reign over the masters of Shechem, because he is your brother. If then you have acted in truth and integrity with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and devour the masters of Shechem and Beth Millo, and let fire come out from the masters of Shechem and from Beth Millo, and devour Abimelech. Then Jotham ran away and fled, and he went to Beer and dwelt there, for fear of Abimelech his brother. And Abimelech governed Israel 3 years. And Elohim sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the masters of Shechem, and the masters of Shechem acted treacherously against Abimelech. in order that the violence done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid on Abimelech, their brother, who killed them, and on the masters of Shechem, who strengthened his hand to kill his brothers. And the masters of Shechem set men in ambush against him on the tops of the mountains, and they robbed all who passed over by them along the way. And it was reported to Abimelech. I mean, in all honesty, we've got a lot of there's a Torah for a bunch of this, man. First off, we don't lie and wait. We don't kill people. We don't murder people, right? Oh, man. Yeah, anyway, this is rough. 26. And Gal, son of Abed, came with his brothers and passed over to Shechem. And the masters of Shechem put their trust in him, and went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trod out, and held a feast. And they went into the house and of their mighty ones, and ate and drank, and cursed Abimelech. And Gal, son of Ebed, said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is he not the son of Jerubbaal, and is not Zubal his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. But why would we serve him? If only the people were under my hand, then I would remove Abimelech. And he said to Abimelech, Increase your army, and come out. And when Zubal, the governor of the city, heard the words of Gal, son of Abed, his displeasure burned. And he sent messengers to Abimelech by deceit, saying, See, Gal, son of Abed, and his brothers have come to Shechem, and see, they are besieging the city against you. And now get up by night, you and the people who are with you, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be, as soon as the sun is up in the morning, then arise early, and rush upon the city, and see. When he and the people who are with him come out against you, you shall do them as your hand finds to do. And you shall do to them as your hand finds to do. And Abimelech and all the people who were with him rose up by night, and laid in wait against Shechem in 4 companies. Now Gal, son of Abed, went out and stood in the entrance of the city gate, and Abimelech and the people who were with him rose from lying in wait. And when Gal saw the people, he said to Zebul, See, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains. But Zebul said to him, You are seeing the shadows of the mountains like men. And Gal spoke again and said, See, people are coming down from the high part of the land, and another company is coming from the divider's terebinth tree. And Zebul said to him, Now, where is your mouth with which you said, Who is Abimelech, that we should serve him, and not these people whom you despised? I beg you, go out and fight them now. So Gal went out, leading the masters of Shechem, and fought Abimelech. And Abimelech pursued him, and he fled from him, and many fell wounded, up to the entrance of the gate. And Abimelech stayed at Arumah, and Zubal drove out Gal and his brothers, so that they would not dwell in Shechem. And it came to be the next day that the people went out into the field, and they informed Abimelech. And he took his people, and divided them into 3 companies, and laid in wait in the field, and looked and saw the people coming out of the city. And he rose against them and struck them. And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward and stood at the entrance of the gate of the city. And the other 2 companies rushed upon all who were in the field and struck them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and captured the city, and killed the people who were with it. And he broke down the city, and sowed it with salt. And all the masters of the tower of Shechem had heard that, and entered the stronghold of the house of El-Berith. And it was reported to Abimelech that all the masters of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. So Abimelech went up to Mount Solomon, he and all the people who were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down a branch from the trees, and took it and laid it on his shoulder. Then he said to the people who were with him, What you have seen me do, hurry, do as I have done. And all the people likewise cut down each one his own branch, and followed Abimelech, and put them against the stronghold, and set the stronghold on fire above them, so that all the men of the tower of Shechem died, about 1,000 men and women. Abimelech then went to the Bets, and he encamped against the Bets, and captured it. However, there was a strong tower in the city, and all the men and women and all the And all the masters of the city fled there and shut themselves in and went up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came to the tower and fought against it, and approached the door of the tower to burn it with fire. But a certain woman dropped an upper millstone on the head of Abimelech and crushed his skull. He then immediately called the young man, his armor-bearer, and said to him, "Draw your sword and kill me, lest men say of me, a woman killed me." And his young man thrust him through, and he died. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, each one went to his own place. Thus did Elohim repay the evil of Abimelech, which he had done to his fathers, to kill his 70 brothers. And all the evil of the men of Shechem Elohim turned back on their own heads. And the curse of Jotham, son of Jerubbaal, came on them. And after Abimelech, there arose Tola, son of Puah, son of Dodo, a man of Issachar, to save Israel. And he dwelt in Shamir, in the mountains of Ephraim. And he ruled Israel 23 years. Then he died and was buried in Shamir. And after him arose Yair. Sorry, let me get a drink real quick. Whew. And after him arose Yair, a Gileadite, and he ruled Israel 22 years. And he had 30 sons who rode on 30 donkeys, and they had 30 towns, which were called Havoth Yair to this day, which are in the land of Gilead. And Yair died and was buried in Canaan. And the children of Israel again did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and served the Baals and the Ashtoreths, and the mighty ones of Aram, and the mighty ones of Sidon, and the mighty ones of Moab, and the mighty ones of the children of Ammon, and the mighty ones of the Philistines, and forsook Yahuwah, and did not serve him. Therefore the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines, and into the hands of the children of Ammon. And they crushed and oppressed the children of Israel that year for 18 years. All the children of Israel who were beyond the Jordan, in the land of the Amorites and Gilead. And the children of Ammon passed over the Jordan to fight against Yehudah and against Benjamin, and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel had great distress. And the children of Israel cried out to Yahuwah, saying, "We have sinned against you, because we have forsaken our Elohim and served other Baals." So Yahuwah said to the children of Israel, "Was it not from the Mitzrites, and from the Amorites, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, that I saved you? And the Sidonians, and Amalek, and Maon oppressed you, and you cried out to me, and I saved you from their hand. But you have forsaken me, and served other mighty ones. Therefore I do not save you again. Go, and cry out to the mighty ones which you have chosen. Let them save you in your time of distress. And the children of Israel said to Yahuwah, "We have sinned. Do to us whatever is good in your eyes. Only deliver us today, please." So they put away the foreign mighty ones from their midst, and served Yahuwah, and his being was grieved with the trouble of Israel. Then the children of Ammon were called together and encamped in Gilead, and the children of Israel gathered together and encamped in Mizpah. And the people, the heads of Gilead, said to each other, "Let the man who is the first to fight against the children of Ammon be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead." All right. Lots going on today. Lots of we didn't do the things, we did do the things. Somebody wanted to do the things, but then got led to do other things. It's Yeah, then we try and put a king over us. We're like, no. We witness our first, the original 300. And the Israelites, at this point in time, from the way I read this, at this point in time, they are now, it's like they have cried wolf too many times. And Dad has had it. But you have forsaken me and served other mighty ones. Therefore I do not save you again. I also wonder, it says, and the children of Israel said to Yahweh. It's not like everybody's in conversation or having the same conversation with Dad all at the same time. So it's interesting to I wonder if there's just a bunch of people at the tent of appointment, at the dwelling place. I don't know. I'll have to do some research. I'll think about that one. Anyway, I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. May Yahweh bless you and guard you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahweh will lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself shall bless them. Shalom, shalom.